Hey kidlets, these are your instructions for today, Wednesday, February 28th. I apologize I'm not with you guys today, but I hope these instructions can make what you're doing really, really clear. So today you have a few tasks. Number one, you do need to make sure that all of your slides for your Mars lander are all done. We will be presenting those when I see you guys next. So for period 4, that's going to be on Friday. For period 6, that's going to be on Tuesday. So make sure that's all done. You also want to keep in mind that some of this stuff can be done outside of class. Inventor, for most of you, cannot be, period. Once you are with your groups and you guys are all generally at the same spot, last class I had mentioned how in the spreadsheet that I shared with you at the beginning of the semester, where you guys all inputted your emails, it's titled with your period in 2018. If you didn't move it already from your shared, then it's probably in your shared. If so, you can just search in your drive. So period 4 is titled period 4 2018 and period 6 2018. So you should be able to find those relatively easily. If you tab down at the bottom, so once you guys have input all of the items, or the one item, I'm sorry, that your group feels confident in building, in doing, and even if this isn't something you feel really, really good about, it just needs to be something that you can actually build. If you can build it, you should be able to explain it. So you guys will need to have a discussion at your tables as to what function and what part you guys are going to do. So a part from your AutomaBlocks and a function or a command within Inventor. So two things that you guys will be doing. So as you guys are looking at the spreadsheet, make sure you are choosing different things than the other people who have edited the spreadsheet before you. Now, one thing we've run into in your guys' classes is that when I give you spreadsheets to edit, you guys are relatively consistently writing in other people's cells. So please make sure you are only writing in your cells. So please just make sure that put your names in, only type across there. This really shouldn't be an issue. I don't want you to have time today battling that. So this morning I shared this set of slides with you. It's titled AutomaBlocks and Inventor Peer Help. You guys each have this. If you tab down at the bottom of the spreadsheet, you can see here this is period 6. There's everyone's emails. And down at the bottom, I've got a tab that says today's date and a bunch of questions at the top. Each group only needs to do one of these. Now, one of the things that's really important to remember is that as you guys are doing this, I only want every part and function listed once. So each group is going to take one thing that you feel very strongly that you can do, something that you've learned, whether it's from AutomaBlocks or a function that you learned when you were building your part that you feel relatively confident in. And then from that, once you open it up, you can see a collective presentation. We've done these before, just like for the Mars lander. You can see all of my rules for collaborative presentations right here. Make sure you delete all the instructional text, put your names at the top. When you move on to the next set of slides, you can see that each group has 2 slides. The first one says AutomaBlocks part, and here you're just choosing any part. This doesn't need to be like the entire wheel. I mean a specific component of that, so the windshield arc, making the components of the interior of the wheel. So something specific within the AutomaBlocks that you guys have built of those 4 parts, some specific component of that. When you guys are doing your description of how to make it, this needs to be in bullet points, step-by-step, procedural, and encompassing. It needs to be thorough and complete. And then insert a pic of that part here. So how I suggest you do this is use your snipping tool, and then from your snipping tool you can actually edit that. So you should be able to like add an arrow. So say your part is complete, say it's the windshield. You should be able to take of that component, do a snipping tool and then add an arrow to whatever it is. So you don't need to have that part in isolation. It can be with the rest of the parts from AutomaBlocks. Just add an arrow to show where that is. And then the next one is an inventor function. So this will probably stem from when I had you guys build the part of your choice. So here you guys will have to, again, communicate. I know some of you guys got the loft really well. Some of you got revolve. Some of you got circularize. Just pick one of those functions that even if it's just one person in your group that feels really confident in that component or that function, that one person can then teach the other people. But I do want you guys to come to a consensus. These are the only 2 slides you're doing. You're only doing an Automoblocks part and an inventor function. So notice here you have 2 things. You have a describe how to use this function. Again, that should be a step-by-step procedural. And here would be an example of when you use it. And then here a pick that you've made. So this will most likely, like I said, come from the part that you chose to build. It doesn't have to. It can come from anything you've done in Inventor thus far. So that's it, guys. These 2 things are due by Friday. You will not be presenting. The whole goal of this is so you guys have one consistent document to where when you're struggling with something, you guys listed in there what part you need help with. If you guys are struggling with which things to do for these slides, look there. If it's something you're like, oh, I totally know how to do that, that would be the obvious choice of what to do for this assignment. So this then is just a working document that you guys can use to reference. You will be getting a grade for this. But this is just something that you guys will be referencing. So you want to do a good job because this is, helping your peers, and those peers will also be helping you. You're putting in one slide, you're going to have 6 or 7 other groups or 6 or 7 other parts and functions that you get a detailed guide of how to do. So you will likely start this in class. You need to come to a consensus in class, but most of this will probably be done at home. So today in class, you have those options. You have these slides, you have finishing your inventor parts, and you have your Mars Landers slides as well. So I will also be giving you Friday to finish building your parts in Inventor. That is it. Everything is due then Friday. You will then have to take a snipping tool screenshot of each of your parts and put that into a document for me, and then you'll just print it out. So it'll be a double-sided thing. So that will be your final product, and then you have some questions you'll answer on there as well. If you happen to get done early, in 5.2b, you guys, some of you had already been confused because there were additional drawings in there. You had a bunch of documents, and one of them was the inventor drawings that had additional parts other than the 4 parts you had to build for 5.2b. If you get done early, start on those because you're going to have to build them eventually. You don't have to yet, but if you get done early, you could just start on this. We will be doing a design challenge when I see you guys on Tuesday. And then we'll be moving into looking at density, and we'll actually be doing a little science lab. So make sure you finish all of this stuff. And again, if you wanted to move on, that will only help you. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you soon.